Hi there, this is Ranjit and I have the Moto G5 and the Redmi Note 4 with me, and in this video we'll be doing the camera comparison because in terms of price point these phones are very close to each other. In fact, the Redmi Note 4 has better specs and it cost for the 3GB RAM model cost just 11,000 rupees, whereas the Moto G5 is priced at 12,000 rupees for the 3GB RAM variant. In terms of processor, yes, the Redmi Note 4 has a better processor. That's the Snapdragon 625 chipset, and this Moto G5 has the Snapdragon 430 chipset. But in this video we'll be doing the camera comparison, because in terms of camera comparison, if you look at the specs point of view, both of them have a 13 megapixel rear facing camera, and again even the front facing camera is the similar in terms of megapixel, that's 5 megapixel. So I'll be shooting a lot of sample shots side by side and even videos so that you can judge which one is doing a better job in terms of camera performance. So here are the pictures side by side, and clearly you'll notice that the color reproduction is actually much better on the Moto G5. Again, these pictures were taken in harsh lighting conditions, that is direct sunlight, and I feel the color reproduction on the Moto G5 is much better and closer to the reality, whereas the colors are sort of muted on the Redmi Note 4. Here in this picture, I feel both of them actually did a very good job in terms of detail. But again, in terms of colors, the Redmi Note 4's picture has that extra contrast and saturation, whereas the Moto G5 picture looks a lot more natural and pleasing to the eye. Now this picture was shot in a shaded area, and again here you'll immediately notice the color reproduction is actually a lot better on the Moto G5. In terms of detail, the Redmi Note 4 also does a very good job, but again the colors look lifeless and sort of pale. Both of them though have a f2.0 lens, but in terms of macro shots, I feel the Moto G5 was easier to work with. With the Redmi Note 4, many times with close-up shots, it was not focusing properly. Now moving to indoor lighting conditions, in this picture, notice the Moto G5 closely. I feel it has more detail compared to the Redmi Note 4. Even in this indoor picture, the Moto G5 is doing better than the Redmi Note 4. In this picture, the light was coming from a side door, and I feel here the Redmi Note 4 did a lot better compared to the Moto G5. The Moto G5 picture is sort of overexposed. Now these pictures were shot in very low lighting conditions in my office, and it was very surprising that the Redmi Note 4 did better. The problem with the Moto G5 was that in low lighting conditions, after clicking a shot, it was taking almost a second to take the picture, and that was causing blurs. This was taken in slightly better lighting conditions, and here the Moto did slightly better. But one thing to note is that in terms of color accuracy, the Redmi Note 4 surprisingly in these low lighting conditions was doing better than the Moto G5. If the lighting improves slightly, I feel the Moto G5 is slightly better in terms of sharpness when compared to the Redmi Note 4, as evident via this picture. Now moving to the front facing camera, first thing that you'll notice immediately is the lens is a lot wider on the Moto G5 compared to the Redmi Note 4. In terms of color reproduction also, I don't like either of them because both of them are not super accurate. But the picture is a lot yellowish and reddish on the Moto G5 and slightly on the paler side with the Redmi Note 4's front facing camera. In terms of detail, the Moto G5's front-facing camera is just better than the Redmi Note 4's front-facing camera. In indoor lighting conditions, both the front-facing cameras start to struggle and the pictures start to get noisy and soft. Now recording the video side by side with the Redmi Note 4, that's on the left, and the Moto G5 on the right. And I'm recording this video at 1080p with both the devices so that you can get an idea which one is doing a better job. We'll also be doing a walk test now to see which one has better stabilization. The Moto claims to have some sort of electronic image stabilization, so you be a judge and let me know which one is doing a better job in terms of stabilization if you're walking. We'll also check the focusing. Both of them say that they have PDF, that face detect auto focusing system. So let me just move out. And in fact, both of them are doing a very good job. In fact, the Redmi Note 4 is not doing that great job. If you notice, the Moto G5 in terms of focusing is a lot sharper. For example, as you can see in close-up objects, especially the Moto G5 is having an edge. For far away objects, even the Redmi Note 4 is focusing very fast. Again, let me show you. If we move to close-up objects, the Moto definitely is nailing the focus a lot better. So this was a quick sample regarding the video performance between the Redmi Note 4 and the Moto G5. Now recording this part of the video with the front-facing camera of the Redmi Note 4. Again, as you can see, this is in outdoor conditions, and the audio that you're hearing is also via the internal microphone of this Redmi Note 4. So this should give you an idea about the video recording with the front-facing camera of the Redmi Note 4 in outdoor lighting conditions. We'll also be shooting a video in the later part of the video that shows how is the video recording in indoor lighting conditions. Now recording this part of the video with the front-facing camera of the Moto G5, and again, as you can see, this is in outdoor conditions. There's a little bit of wind going on, so there might be a little bit of wind noise, but this should give you an idea about the video recording with the front-facing camera of the Moto G5 in outdoor lighting conditions. We'll also be shooting a video in indoor lighting conditions in the later part of the video. Shooting this part of the video with the front-facing camera of the Redmi Note 4, and as you can see, this is an artificial lighting in my office, and the audio is also being recorded via its internal microphone. And here I have sort of mixed lighting, so let's just go out and see how is the video recording with the front-facing camera of this Redmi Note 4. So here I have just one tube light switched on, and there might be a little bit of echo in this room, but this should give you an idea about the front-facing camera of this Redmi Note 4. Now recording this part of the video with the front-facing camera of the Moto G5. Again, as you can see, this is an artificial lighting condition, and one thing that I immediately noticed is that the front-facing camera lens is a lot wider on this Moto G5. So even if two people are around, it can easily capture that. That was not the case with the Redmi Note 4. And again, as you can see, this is an artificial lighting, and the audio is also being recorded via its internal microphone. Let's just move out and see. And again, in this room, only one tube light is there. So this should give you an idea about the video recording with the front-facing camera of the Moto G5 in artificial lighting conditions. So what do I feel about the camera performance? I had a look at all the camera samples on my computer, and I have to say the results were sort of very mixed. But clearly the Moto G5 in terms of camera performance did better. For example, in the if you talk about the rear-facing camera in outdoor lighting conditions, the color reproduction was actually better on the Moto G5, and also in terms of macro focusing, it was slightly better compared to the Redmi Note 4. But when we move to artificial lighting conditions and indoor lighting conditions, here the results were very surprising and sort of mixed. If the lighting was decent enough, I feel the Moto G5 was doing a better job. But when the lighting was very low, I feel the Redmi Note 4 was simply doing a better job. The problem with the Moto G5 was that in very low lighting conditions, once you click the shutter lag was actually very high. It was taking almost a second to take the picture, and during that time, your hands tend to actually shake. Hence, most of the picture in very low lighting conditions were sort of coming blurry with the Moto G5. That was not the case with the Redmi Note 4. Even in very low lighting conditions, the shutter speed was good with the Redmi Note 4. Now moving to video, here clearly the Moto G5 was the winner because the video quality was better in terms of color reproduction, as we saw from the side-by-side samples, and also in terms of stabilization, the Moto had better stabilization. The Moto had electronic image stabilization, whereas the Redmi Note 4 simply did not have any stabilization. So if you were shooting video and moving, definitely the Moto G5 has an edge. Again, even when we talk about the front-facing camera performance, the video quality was just better on the Moto G5. Now again, if we talk about general about the front-facing camera, here again the Moto G5 is the winner for me. It has a wider lens, and also in terms of colors, though both of them didn't get the colors accurately with the front-facing camera, but if I have to pick one, I would say the pictures with the Moto G5 was slightly better compared to the Redmi Note 4. So overall, I would say if camera is the thing that is the deciding factor, then the Moto G5 certainly does better. But again, I would say if camera is your highest priority, then obviously the Honor 6X or even the Moto G5 Plus do a far better job compared to these two devices. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. So guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching this video. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.